us with her intellect and maturity, work ethic, and empathy. Jillian leads her classmates by example. She is easy to get along with and has enough self-confidence to stand up for herself and others. Outside of the classroom, Jillian is a talented field hockey player, playing for both the JV and varsity teams as an 8th grader. And she also competes nationally with a junior Olympic development team, but she's going to tell you more about that in her speech, so I don't want to ruin that part. Jillian is an incredible academic, friend, and athlete, and I am confident that she'll continue to impress us with her many talents through her upper school career. And we are so lucky to have you as part of our community now. So without further ado, Jillian Hamilton.
Leadership is getting people to do things for you because they want to. Now I know this might be confusing at first, just like how it was for me when my dad first told me at a field hockey tournament. He was telling me about how proud he is of me, seeing me grow into the person I am today. He told me a story about how in the police academy, he and his other classmates had to come up with their own original definition of leadership. His group came up with the definition, leadership is getting people to do things for you because they want to. Over the years, every adult figure in my life has encouraged me to be a leader, whether it was in sports, school, or everyday life. Being considered a leader shows that you're responsible, caring, and a person that can be trusted. Being a leader is someone others look up to. Every day I strive to lead myself and others to success. Being a leader in field hockey can be easy to spot out. When I normally think of a leader on the field, I think of someone who's an amazing athlete and scores a lot of goals. They lead their team to victory. I have this teammate who checks all of these boxes. One tournament, we were playing a very high-level team, and we had to beat them in order to go to nationals. The first half of the game, we were down 0-1, and our team just couldn't connect. The teammate who I thought was a leader was trying to get everyone on the team to succeed by giving them constructive criticism while in the game. I love constructive criticism and communication on the field, but you also have to point out the positives if you want to be successful. Nobody would listen to her, and we were all starting to get discouraged. The next half, I decided to say every compliment that came to my mind and encourage my teammates, and then when they would have confidence, I would give them a suggestion for what they could do better next time. We ended up winning the game 3-1 and continued to go on to nationals. On the car ride home that day, I was talking to my dad, and I was telling him that I noticed that people respond better to your critiques when that's not all you give them. I told my dad that in order to have a successful team, you have to build your team's confidence and then give them criticism. They're more likely to take your suggestions. I then thought about my teammate and how she was perceived as a leader. She had good intentions, but she needed to recognize that what she was doing was not working, and she needed to change how she led. A leader can notice when what they are doing is not working and change so everyone can be successful. I've been playing field hockey since I was 5 years old, and over those 9.5 years, I've accomplished so many goals, but I still have so many to accomplish. I've been a part of the most elite field hockey club team in Kentucky, IFIC. I've won national championships for indoor field hockey, won indoor and outdoor regional championships, and won over 15 regional tournaments. And I'm a National Nexus athlete, which is a junior Olympic pathway development program. Last year, I started high school varsity at South Oldham, and this year I started junior varsity and varsity for the high school team. I'm on my way to becoming a 6-year varsity letterman. This year, collegiate varsity made it to the quarterfinals for state. Throughout my 9 years, I've learned many lessons. One of the lessons is that no one is truly successful without working hard. All of the greats have to sacrifice time, energy, and much more to be where they are. Field hockey has been the center point of my whole life. My best friends have come from field hockey, my life lessons, and even coaches that impact my life. Even though I have come a long way from when I was 5 years old, I still have so much to learn, and I'm so excited to see where field hockey takes me. I never really enjoyed school until this year. I always blew by, never having homework and not studying. I did well on assignments and exams, but I didn't fully grasp the concept of what I was being taught. I was memorizing and not learning or applying it in real life. I associated school with a chore and not an opportunity. People ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would say, I don't know, because nothing interests me at school. But after coming to collegiate, this wonderful community of teachers who care about their students and students who are passionate about learning, I learned that I love school. I finally understand what I'm learning and applying it in daily life. Still though, when someone asks me, what do you want to be when you grow up, I still say I don't know. But not because I'm not interested in my future, but because I have so many opportunities, I don't even know where to start. I love everything about school and my future. Many of us take for granted about what we have here in this community, so I challenge you to be grateful for all of our loads of homework, because many kids would give anything to have the same opportunities we do. A leader in the classroom can be a little bit more difficult to see. Normally I would think of someone who's super smart and somebody who's super confident, somebody who handles group work well. Math has always been a subject that I tried to enjoy, but no teacher ever explained math to me in a way that made sense. I could not be a leader in math and I hated it, until Miss T. She's been such a great teacher. She explains math in a way that makes me think deeper. She encourages me to try to find the answer myself, and she's always willing to help me when I'm frustrated. Now in math, I'm confident to answer questions in class and help my peers. Being a leader is very important to me, and I'm so happy that I now get to help others in math just like Miss T has for me. Another subject I've really loved to learn over the years is history. Mr. Haas has really changed the way I've looked at it. I used to think that it was boring and irrelevant, but this year we've done something completely different in history. Studying the Constitution really showed me how interested I am in the law. I used to think history was all about memorizing and boring facts, but Mr. Haas taught me how to connect what we've learned in class and use it to what's happening in the real world right now. My whole life, I've always been busy. I've always either had hours of sports practice or homework or being with my friends or family and trying to find time for God. Most people don't know, but at the beginning of this year, I was really struggling trying to find time to balance everything and putting so much pressure on myself. An average day for me consisted of waking up at 5:10. Then I would get everything ready for the day and get on the bus. At school, I was really quiet and found it hard to connect with people. In class, I tried my hardest to be self-sufficient and never ask questions unless I had to. After school, I would play in both JV and varsity games, and I'd never play as well in the varsity games because I was so tired from the day. After these games, I'd get home around 9:30, and I still had so much to do. I had to eat dinner, shower, and do homework, all while the rest of my family was sleeping. During that time, I would feel so guilty about all the things I was missing out on. I felt so exhausted, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I wasn't my usual self. I took everything seriously. I started to hate everything I used to enjoy and never told anyone. I wanted to be the most successful at everything. But one night, I came home, and I was sitting on the couch doing my homework next to my mom. She paused the TV and looked at me and asked me how I was really doing. I told her I was so burnt out of everything, I didn't enjoy anything I used to. Then she told me I put way too much pressure on myself to be great. She said that even the best leaders and the most successful people in life still fail, and how I'm still a kid and it's important for me to have fun and not take things too seriously. She told me to look at everything I've accomplished in the past months and not everything I failed. My mom finally showed me that I should be happy with myself and not ashamed. I've had many people in my life that influenced and led me to where I am today. Obviously my parents, but someone that doesn't get enough credit is my coach, Maddie. Field hockey can be extremely stressful, especially the level I play at. I struggle a lot with confidence on the field. Coach Maddie has always been someone I can turn to when I can't believe in myself. She builds back up my confidence and teaches me how to take all that lack of self-esteem and turn it into motivation and drive. For a while, I stopped loving field hockey. Nobody knew but Maddie. She saw me burning out and losing love for the sport I once admired. One day at the end of a tournament, she pulled me aside and asked me how I was doing. I told her that at the beginning of the tournament I was doing great, but then every game I started to decrease and lose trust in myself. I told her I wonder why I was even there. Coach Maddie told me I belonged on that team, that I deserved that spot just as much as anybody else. It wasn't given to me. She told me that I'm such a smart, amazing player, and that not literally one player, except for her, is perfect. She taught me how to be the best player I can be. Coach Maddie reminded me why I love the sport, not because of success or winning, but because I simply love to play. Field hockey to me is my escape from all the pressure I'm under. I turned it into something I wanted to escape. Coach Maddie led me to the love of field hockey again. I grew up going to church with my family when I was young. I never really grasped the concept of Christianity. For a long time, my whole family fell out of it, and we still believed, but we never went to church. Later in our lives, my brother got a girlfriend who was a versatile follower of Jesus. My brother and her started going to church more often, and I started to envy his relationship with Jesus, and often wondered why I couldn't have a better relationship. Then one day, Riley, my brother's girlfriend, invited me to go with them. And I saw how during worship, how free she felt singing the songs about our Savior. The next song, she inspired me to do the same. I've never felt more free and more happy than when I was worshiping God through music. And I just listened to the words and allowed myself to actually feel. One of the hardest parts about being a Christian is fear of judgment. God has had the most influence on me throughout my life. God, to me, is unconditional love. He's taught me to love others even when they've wronged me and even when I disagree with them. God has taught me how to love myself. He wants me to have a good relationship with Him, and He wants me to be successful. God teaches me to love others as well. He taught me how to put others first and show them the love that He shows me. As a Christian, my goal is to love everybody and share God's love. When you look at the attributes of a leader, they have many similarities to the goals of being a Christian. Jesus Christ has turned me into the person, the leader I am today. Leadership is getting other people to do things for you because they want to. I've had many positive leaders in my life, and like them, I strive to be a positive leader in others' lives. The most valuable lesson I learned is that leaders aren't perfect. Everyone, including me, makes mistakes. The difference is a leader takes accountability, learns from others, and uses their mistakes to be even better in the future. I would first like to dedicate this speech to my family, my parents, Meredith and Sean Hamilton, and my brother, Nicholas Hamilton. I want to thank my brother for being someone I can lean on and being someone that can always humble me. You may not know this, but I've always looked up to you and wanted to be exactly like you. Thank you to my dad for being a leader in my life and always being someone I can look up to. Thank you to my mom for being my best friend and being someone I can always talk to. My family is truly the best people I've ever had in my life, and they've always been the people that will be there for me in the future. I would like to thank Ms. Teratani for being the first math teacher in my life, who's taught me in a way that makes sense and allowed me to enjoy math. Lastly, I would like to thank my great-grandpa Keno for making everything possible, including giving me the opportunity to give this speech today. Thank you for always believing in me and being my #1 supporter. I will forever honor you in memory and live life the way you taught me to live it, by being a leader.